We are talking about healthy recipes today, and Shana Conradt is here. She's all about healthy. Got two little boys, so trying to get them to eat healthy as well, right?
Yeah, and I agree with you how you said earlier that if it's done and ready when they get home, because obviously they're hungry at that point, they'll eat it a lot more likely than if you give them a snack first and then an hour later ask them to eat supper, and then they start to request things like macaroni and hot dogs and simple things that maybe aren't exactly what you want to give the kids.
Very, very true. And starting them out, I'm a huge believer of starting them out with veggies and dip.
Yeah.
Where, you know, if they're really hungry, they walk in the door and you're like, here.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and you know, healthy living to me isn't just dinners, it's living. So it's having company over and being able to prepare really nice, fun appetizers and having dips and other snack foods that are healthy that they can eat as an option too. So.
I agree. So we're going to do two fun, healthy dip recipes. Yes. And I do try and, you know, even if you're doing some naughty stuff, like for a game day party, I always try and have some sort of veggie and dip out there for those people that are trying to be, you know, a little more healthy. So this is a twist on hummus, which I happen to love.
Yeah, so most of you out there know that hummus, the main ingredient in hummus is chickpeas, garbanzo beans, whichever you like to call them, and then olive oil. And so the real big difference here is that we're using a white bean, a Great Northern bean, which I think is a little bit more clean tasting. I love hummus, but I do have to say that it's a little more of that cliche health food taste. And there's no olive oil involved. And so we get our creaminess from cottage cheese and the juice from the roasted red pepper and some other fun things. So we're going to dump the beans right in.
1 can of Great Northern
Correct, exactly.
beans.
Great Northern beans, drained and rinsed.
Okay, all right.
Just like you said. And actually, that starch that you see there is, you know, the typical tootingness, the song, you know, with the beans. That's the starch that's on the beans that you wash off when you rinse them is actually what makes that happen.
So there you go.
Draining and rinsing your beans is super important for a bunch of reasons. So there's some garlic here. We're just going to give it a little bit of a chop so we don't have any humongous chunks. Food processor is going to do most of the work. We have a cup of reduced fat cottage cheese. Very simple.
And this is going to really up the protein, you said, in this dip.
Exactly. So another thing about hummus, not only is the serving size really small, which how many of us open that little bitty container and eat the entire thing, but it's also really high in fat. And olive oil, yes, good healthy fat. I believe in buying quality olive oil, but using serving sizes because olive oil is not going to stop your heart from beating, but it will stop your pants from fitting if you drink it, you know? So we have to keep things in proportion. So we've got 2 ounces of reduced fat feta cheese.
And that goes in there just the whole block?
It goes in there just like that. Now, one of the superstars of this recipe is this roasted red pepper. Now, you can buy these done already. You can do them yourself. You can roast it in your oven. But they're in water, so you're not getting any added fat, but you are getting some super good moisture, and it brings like a gorgeous, gorgeous color to this dish. The last ingredient is cumin. Now, when I do things like cumin, I like to use the seeds, because if you use your mortar and pestle, the flavor and the oils that come out is incredible. Plus, it's almost like a stress-relieving thing, because you can really get crazy. And do you smell that? So you used cumin earlier, and I love using it this way because it just increases the taste and the flavor so much. So go ahead and dump that in.
Yeah, well, that does. Yeah, it's just as much, you know, the ground spices are not,
Yeah, it's just a little more fresh, a little bit more flavorful. So now we just process the heck out of it. So
we want to be real smooth, basically. This is going to make a nice big batch.
Yeah, our feta's evading.
That's all right. We'll use this guy. Let's do this, and we'll move on to dip number 2. While
Fantastic. Okay, so you finished there. The next thing we're doing here is called a creamy bean dip. Kind of sort of like a taco dip, a little bit different. I do have an ingredient here that I'm almost always coming here with. This is my Greek yogurt. Love Chobani, love the Greek yogurt. So we're going to take a cup of Greek yogurt. We're going to take some refried beans.
So this is kind of acting like the sour cream would.
Exactly. So it fits very well in here.
Now, what is this, Shana?
This is a chipotle pepper. So this is a smoked jalapeno pepper. It's in adobo sauce. Adobo sauce is tomato juice and paprika and onions and garlic. And chipotle peppers give you that insane smoky taste. A little bit of background spice, but not really intense. So I have about a teaspoon of the sauce itself and 1 chopped chipotle pepper. And if you would stir this, that would be fabulous.
Oh, that smells good.
It's that smoky kind of, you know, Tex-Mex sort of smell.
They come in a little can.
They do.
And you normally get like 3 or 4 in the can, so we're just using 1. What I do, Shana, is I hate to throw the can out, so I freeze the...
Take a Ziploc baggie, just stick the can right in the zip, put it in the freezer, and use it the next time. Totally agree with you. So now we're going to layer, okay? So we're going to layer some just regular old black beans, again, drained and rinsed.
And where do we want to, on a plate?
Layer it right over the top.
Oh, right
of
over the top of
this.
this. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Here.
Okay. So I just kind of smooth it out here. Okay.
Then I have some really pretty tomatoes. I have to admit, these are from my garden. So these are little heirloom tomatoes.
They're
gorgeous.
cute. Yeah.
So you could use canned tomatoes. I think if you can use fresh, you should. And you know, the tomatoes are just about done providing right now. You know, they're kind of coming to the end in your garden. So pull some out if you have them. And
so the beans go basically on top of that.
Exactly.
Dip.
Real simple. Yep.
So this is the old spin on the taco dip with the cream cheese and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
It's, guilt-free. This is done, I think. This is gorgeous. What do you think?
Awesome.
Does that look good?
It's beautiful. So the cottage cheese and the beans, and it kind of, a lot of people question it when I first throw it together. This is a recipe that I use as a demo a lot of the time because it just proves that some of the most interesting things combined together can provide a really great flavor if you put them together properly. So this is a great spin on a healthy version of hummus that does surprise people because of the ingredients.
It sure is pretty too. Both these recipes you'll find in Shana's cookbook. Again, the cookbook is called Getting Fit with Food. How can people get a hold of the cookbook?
My website is probably the best way to find the cookbook, and it's just my full name, ShanaLeeConrad.com. So like videos from today are on there, some other little videos that I do as tips, and then all the information on what I do as a, my services. So
wonderful.
So now we're going to take our tomatoes, layer that right on top.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to chop some green onions. Get them.
All right. We'll finish this up, Shana. Great to see you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And we'll put all the recipes that we did on the show today, from that chicken stew that we started with to Shana's twist on hummus and this layered taco dip, Mexican dip, on the website. We'll be back.